We're going to go from AM to PM here in just a moment. And our final morning coach, but only part of the way through the day, is Joni Taylor from Texas A&M, who's beginning her third year leading the women's basketball program at Texas A&M University. I have tried to connect the small world that we live in. I've told yesterday with our men's coaches some stories. I was driving down 280. I think this was pre-COVID, like 2 days before Christmas, and my phone lights up and I look over, and next to me, driving in a car right next to me, is Joni Taylor. So you never know where you may bump into one of our coaches. Joni founded and lead what is called the Beyond Basketball organization in the Bryan College Station area, which is a group of over 150 women coming together to talk about things beyond basketball, as the name connotates, education, support, and discussion about fellowship together, and inviting guest speakers in for learning experience is something that she leads. She and her husband have 2 daughters, JC and Drew. Her husband, Darius, is the general manager for the Connecticut Sun in the WNBA, and we were just comparing some notes about her time in Paris, where she was part of the coaching staff for the U.S. women's basketball team, helping lead that team to gold, collecting her 5th gold medal in various capacities with USA Basketball. And way back in the day, as they say, Joni was a 3-time state champion in track and field at Meridian High School and was also crowned the homecoming queen. So welcome to the stage, the head coach, Texas A&M University women's basketball team, Joni Taylor.
We're going to go straight to questions. So if you will raise your hand, we'll get one of the remote mics to you. And remember to identify yourself and the outlet you represent when you ask your question. Let's start right on the front row on the left.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, AP, how are you?
Good, Coach. AP Stedham, AP, and Kelly, as we see it. Coach, what did that mean for you to win the Olympic gold, be part of that process, and all about also your top scorer? She's pretty dynamic.
She is. You know what? I have gotten that question a lot, rightfully so, and I'm honestly not sure if I've processed it still, AP. When you're in it, you're in the grind of it. Obviously, this year, the competition was very, very competitive. If you watched that last game, it went down to the final shot. And then the first feeling you have is like relief, right? Relief that you got the job done and you completed the mission, and you never want to be you never want to disappoint. You don't want to be someone who didn't go there and finish the job. But I really don't know if I've processed like that experience. And so it's something that I think about. I'm obviously very grateful for, to be around those 12 elite young women and the coaching staff that we assembled. We had great chemistry, and it's just impressive to watch what they do every single day. In terms of AC, she's our leading scorer. She is our toughest player. She brings a level of competitiveness and just drive and hunger for the game that has leaked over into the rest of our team. So year 2 for her here with us in our program and our culture and our just the way we do things. I'm excited to see how she continues to grow, but she leads us every day with her competitiveness and just her drive to win.
All right, next question in the far back on the right.
Hey, Joni, I'm Olin Buchanan with TexAgs.com.
Hey, well, how are you?
If I could ask you a couple of things. First of all, I just wanted to ask, like it's so common now, you've had quite a bit of, I guess, turnover or moving parts in the roster. So I wanted to ask you, how you feel like those, the teams coming together or meshing or whatever. And then I just wanted to ask you about, going into, I guess, year 3 at A&M. Do you have a feel of where the program is right now, and do you feel like you're on schedule?
Yeah. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. I think that this team, we had a chance to go on a foreign tour this summer. And so when you do that, you're across the water for 10 days, but also you get like practice days. You get to practice in the summer, like 20-hour practice. And so that gave us a chance to really get a sneak peek of who this team is. There's a lot of similar faces, a lot of different faces. And so we had some time to really gel as a team. I'm excited about who we are. We're versatile. We're big. We're long. We've got the pieces. We've got to stay healthy. We only have 11 on our roster, which is, honestly, I like having a smaller roster. 15 is a hard load to carry for us and just how we play. And so I'm excited about the people that we have. Going into year 3, I think we are moving in the right direction. Are we where we want to be? No, because we're not winning championships yet. But I think we took a huge step last year, and our goal is to continue to move that program in the right direction, and we're doing that. And so I'm excited about our staff, I'm excited about our players, and the potential that we have.
Other questions? If you raise your hand, and we'll get a floor mic to you. Let's go to the front row on the right.
Caroline Mikowskis, Lexington Herald Leader. Coach, I wanted to ask you, you bring in Talia Parker this year. What are you seeing from her, and why was it important to you to keep her in state?
Yeah. Number one, Talia might be one of the funniest people who I have been around. I said it earlier to Steph, and we were talking, but she has me laughing in practice, and that is not something that normally happens for me, but she is just hilariously funny and doesn't know she's funny. In terms of who she is as a person, which is really one of the most important things for us, she is someone who has high goals for herself. She comes from a great family, and she is someone who fits perfectly into what it means to be an Aggie. She's came from the state of Texas, obviously, in Dallas or Grand Prairie, and she's a long guard. She's really good defensively. She's a scorer. You put the ball in her hands, she figures out how to score. And we needed somebody on the wing who would just go get a bucket, and so she can do that. Obviously, as a freshman, she's got to learn our style, learn our pace, so it's a lot coming at her right now. But really excited about what she brings to our team on the court and all of the intangibles that she brings off the court as well.
Okay, next question on the right, fourth row.
Richard Hendricks, Crimson Tide Sports Network. Just wanted to know, what experiences did you take from the Olympic gold medal experience that you're able to translate over to your team this year at Texas A&M?
Hey, Richard, good to see you. I think, so this is my second time being with the national team. My first opportunity was in 2022 when we went to Australia and won the World Cup. And so, number one, we try to tell our players every single day, like, they're elite is not a word you just throw around. And so anytime I leave that environment, I am reminded, and I'm grateful to be around greatness and to be around the 12 best players in the world at that time. And so we bring back to our team those habits, whether it's their nutrition habits, their prehab habits, the way they take care of their body, the way they show up to the practice floor, their extra workouts. We bring all that back to our team because we have players who have played for their national teams. AC played for her national team this summer. We have players who want to be Olympians, who want to, represent USA basketball, or who just want to be professionals. And so that's something that I bring back for our players. The other thing is just because our players want to play professionally, our game, the way we play offensively, really mimics the professional game. We try to use the same terminology. We run some of the same actions so that the transition for them is as seamless as possible. I think if we have players who that's their ambition and their goal, then it's our job as coaches to put them in the best position possible to do that. And obviously that's how they work. That's their game. That's their talent. But it's also making sure that the transition, which is normally the hardest, is the terminology and the actions. And so that's what we try to make sure we simulate into our program.
Other questions? Let's raise your hand. Let's go to the middle in the second row.
Hi, Joni. Kevin Skarbinski from the SEC blog. What is it about AC that allows her to be at her best when the lights are brightest, like the South Carolina game in the SEC tournament?
Yeah. I think for her, again, like, she shows up like that every single day, but she understands what it is we need. She's arguably our best defender, arguably our best rebounder. She obviously, the stats say she's our best player, our best scorer. And so she can bring all of those things. And I think that's what she does best. She looks around and she recognizes, where does the team need me today? And she is happy to fulfill whatever role that is. And sometimes it's all of it. Most times it is all of those things. I think innately as a person, she just has that competitive drive. Before she came to the United States, she fell in love with basketball as a player in Mali, and she realized that that was her ticket. So her why is a lot bigger than it is for some people, and I think that drives her. She's very proud of where she comes from and her family and her mom, and she has sacrificed a lot to be here, time away from her family, time away from her siblings, to be here and play the sport that she loves, and she wants to have a future in basketball. So I think when you combine all of those things together, it is the product that you see on the floor.
Next question in the front row on the left.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about the NIL landscape at Texas A&M for the women's basketball.
Yep. Just that question in general. I think that in year 3, we are moving that into the direction that it needs to be. One thing that I will say is for us, NIL is a great opportunity for players to benefit off of their name, image, and likeness, but we don't want it to be transactional. We don't want a transactional relationship. And so for us, NIL comes after you were there because you chose to come help our program on and off the floor in all those areas. I think that we are at an institution that obviously has a lot of resources, and so that puts us in a position to be successful in that area.
Next question, far back on the right.
Yeah, Joni, last year y'all made a big move from year 1 to year 2 and got into the NCAA tournament. Just as you look at your team and what you face, what do you think y'all have to do to continue, get back to the NCAA tournament and continue making improvement in your program?
We got to stay healthy, number one. I really think we could have had 5 more wins last year if we don't lose India Rogers and Lauren Ware. We played that game in the tournament against Nebraska without Lauren, and India was coming back off of a knee surgery that allowed her to come back for the SEC tournament. And so we were fortunate to still make the tournament. But so we've got to stay healthy. And then we've got to, where we are right now is, I would still love to see a little bit more consistency in who we are in practice every single day. We have 3 great days, and then we have a just okay day. And I want a great day every day. And really good teams, they show up every single day. They do what they have to do at a high level. They don't get bored with the mundane. They don't get bored with excellence. And so we've got to continue to create those types of habits, because when you have teams who can walk in every single day in practice, attack it, get it done, and get it done at a high level, that's when you know that you are on your way to building something at a championship level. And we've still got some work to do there. Are we better than we were in year 1 and year 2? Absolutely. Are we where we need to be? No.
Other questions? Raise your hand. Let's go to the 4th row on the left.
Wilton Jackson, the next coach. I wanted to ask you about your transfers, specifically Janae and Amira. Where do you envision them helping out this season?
Yep. So I'll start with Janae. Janae is someone who we have history with and have known for a really long time. She's a long guard. She's big. I think she can impact the game on both sides of it. She's a two-way player. When she gets out in transition in the open court, she's really dynamic there. Defensively, she can guard positions 1 through 4. And so I think we can move her around a lot. She brings a championship mentality with her to our program, which is something that we need to add as well. And so I'm excited about just her maturity, who she is, how she works, and just the consistency she shows us every single day. Amira, we've known her since the 7th grade from our time in Georgia. She brings just versatility at the forward position. She can post up, she can shoot it, she can drive it. Again, someone who understands who we are as a staff and can echo that in the locker room. But again, defensively is a rim protector, a great rebounder, and so she just brings us some versatility and athleticism at the forward spot.
Other hands? Questions for Coach? Please raise your hand. Last call. All right, thank you, Coach. You can move to your next stop.
Thanks, Claude. Good to see you.
A reminder,